All right, we are live, guys. What is going on? Happy Wednesday. Hope y'all are having a great week. I'm excited for this week's mastermind. We have got Serri out of Carlsbad, California. If you guys don't know where that is, it's outside of San Diego. And she can be way more specific on the area and where her team services. But what is going on? How are you?
What's up? I like how you said Siri, right? Like our whole conversation yesterday was my name is tricky. Last name.
So I asked her yesterday, we shot a podcast and I asked her, so I'm like, how do you pronounce your last name? And she's like, Rowell. It's like Powell. I was like, all right, cool. I've got it. Like, good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like doing the intro and I'm like, super, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, da 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 da. She's like, this, not, da 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 da. And I'm like, and Siri, and then like, you know how you have, like, you see a word and you
You
have that
doubt
moment
it.
where you're like, how do I say it? Right. And so I was
Yeah.
like, Rowell. No, it's Rowell. No, it's I was just like, I'm just gonna let it ride. And then she just like immediately called me out. I was like, all right, cool, you're my people. Like clearly we can be friends
Thing.
because I would do that to someone as well.
It was funny.
But
That was
anyways,
funny.
so I'm yeah. Do you want to share your screen or do you want me to share mine?
Yeah. So I
Weird.
can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. By the
Yeah.
way. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I just did a webinar with a friend of mine recently, and the whole internet went down, and it was like a terrible disaster. I have my marketing girl in here, Liv. She knows my pain. So as long as you guys can hear me, we're
I'm
good.
I'm here for moral support.
Thanks, Liv.
No, we can hear you. Do you want me to share my screen? Because
No, I got it.
I
Yeah.
can
So,
okay.
can you guys see that? Okay. Awesome. All right. So, yeah. So my name is Serri Rowell, and I'm out of Carlsbad in San Diego. Um, a little bit about me. I'll kind of shoot over here. Is I am a visual person. So for me, it is important for me to have slides and stuff like that. I always find it helpful then, on these things for me to like have some tangibles. I always kind of like to leave with some visuals and some tangible items. So I am a mom of lots of boys. So I always like to lead with this because I think business obviously is very, very important, and it's pretty much my life from the time that I wake up till I go to sleep. But these guys right here is what drives me and what it's who I am. So um, you can see in this middle picture here, that's me. I was a baby. I was 18. Well, no, I was 19 here, but this is my first son, Ty. He's now 27. He lives in Ohio. And then this is all the other kids. Funny thing about this photo here, the one with, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor or not, but the one bottom, let's see, I'm dyslexic with left and right. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but bottom right, the sun on the right side is photoshopped in there. So I was like, send me a photo, Ty. And that's freaking what he sent me. So that's says a lot about my boys. My boys like to harass me. So anyways, that was in Real Producers, and that's how he wanted to be seen in there as the blind man. So um and Katie, I want to ask you too, like how do you typically run these? Is it like, stop and ask questions? Like I want to make it collaborative. I think sometimes when, we're just kind of like sharing a
Yeah.
lot of information, it gets lost in that. So just kind of get your guidance on that too.
For sure. Let's I took a look at the slides and everything you sent over. So let's like get through kind of your intro and then I've got a couple
Okay,
questions for you and things like that. And then people will start, unmuting and
perfect.
asking me in the chat and stuff like that. So
Get the
yeah,
wheels
let's go through
spinning.
kind of your background and
Okay.
how you've grown to the powerhouse team that y'all are today. And then we can kind of dig into some nitty gritty and
Yeah.
pull back the curtain.
Cool. Okay. All right. So my journey is we started out in a little 1,000 square foot. It literally was a broom closet. Like when we went in there, there was like brooms in there. Liv's nodding her head. It was like the storage room for the office. And so went in, fixed it up, made it look pretty. We kind of have a knack for doing that with our office space. This is something that Katie and I touched on yesterday is the journey of getting from my branding to where we are today. And as you can see, and again, my marketing manager's like, yeah, because we literally are like, we're going to tattoo our current brand on each other because we're not changing it again. but so a little bit about me is I've been in real estate for over 20 years now, and 16 years in, I got completely just burnt out of basically showing homes and doing all that stuff. I still do that stuff. I'm still a real estate agent. I'm actually a licensed broker in California and in Utah. But I thought it'd be cool at that point to go get my broker's license and start a team because I was just fried. And so the brokerage was called C Villa Realty. And then the team was called the Serri Rowell team. And I can't really remember the story of why we changed it from the Serri Rowell team, but the next progression was to the Hey Siri home team, because obviously my name is Siri, right? All your iPhones go off and all that fun stuff. But then we got together with my marketing team and we were like, okay, well, we can't say Hey Siri because that's actually copyrighted from Apple. So we're going to drop that and we're going to go to the Siri home team. And let me tell you, this was all within about a 4-year period that this stuff happened. So building systems and trying to get all your branding and all that stuff together is very difficult when you don't have a clear vision, which I really didn't have, as you can see. But the cool thing is this is where we are today. Totally, I took my name out of everything. This is a snippet of some of our agents. We're at about, I think with employees and everything, we're like 85 agents and staff. But we're now the brand, and so it's the brand realty.
Siri,
Yes.
you might come up with this later, but I have a question. What did your timeline, because you just showed the timeline and the marketing standpoint, but your team started what, like 5? And then what's your timeline look to the 85? Is it like a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Like, what does that look like?
Great question. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Stop me anytime if you guys think of things as I go. So we were a team of this 5 here for probably, I don't know, maybe within the year, the first year. And then we grew to, I'd say the progression to Siri home team, we got up to about 30-ish agents, and that was within like 4 years. We got up to about 30 agents. And then when we went over to the brand, I think we were about 25. So anyways, does that help? We went over to we changed to the brand, you guys, in March. So we have gone from 25 to where we are now in the last, 7 months.
Well, not to completely derail, but from what I hear from a lot of mega team leaders, the people that have 50 plus agents, that like 20 to 30-ish agents is like the messy middle where it
totally is.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? And like, obviously you guys have had significant growth over the past year. So it's like going from 20 to 80, like what were some, mistakes that occurred then, or things that like, as people, we have 20 agents right now. So as people are looking to continue to grow their teams, what are some things that they should try to avoid?
Okay, so first of all, I would say really try to be thoughtful about what your branding is and what direction you want to go in. We kind of went over this yesterday too. And a couple of things is, I'm not saying it's not bad to have your name in your team, right? That's not bad. It's just that for me personally, it never felt right for me. It just kind of like, I don't know, I just don't have a big ego around that stuff. And so I did not want my name in it, but I understood because 16 years I was putting in all the work and people knew me and stuff like that. So it makes sense, right? But I didn't really logically think through all that stuff. So I would say really sit down and think about what your vision is, and make sure that you start with the goal in mind. And so the thing is that when I was asked like, how many agents do you want to have? My answer is infinity. Like, I don't have a stopping point in mind, but I know that there's a lot of teams that say, I just want a small team, and that's cool too, right? Like big teams, small teams. I think it's good. So if you can imagine though, the journey of this in 4.5 years, that's really pretty quick for all this stuff. So it's just kind of like throwing things against the wall and going at it as you can. And so I'd say if you could really start methodically to try to think about these things at the beginning, it's going to save you a lot of heartache along the way. So you hear about all these mistakes that people made and stuff like that. I would say just really get your ducks in order more than I did. And honestly, you guys, I'm an OCD organized person. I am, but I'm also a yes person, and I'm a doer. And so if someone says, let's do this, I'm like, okay, let's just do it. Like, and I'm just running and doing all this stuff. So Katie, the messy middle is totally between 20 and 30. There is I personally don't know what it is, but I'm sorry you're there. If you need anything, let me know. I guess the best advice is to just really know that you're going to put your head down and you're going to power through it and get your, your systems and stuff in place, and everybody goes through it. So, so this is just a little snippet. I want everybody to feel and realize that when we went over to the brand, to me, it really changed the dynamic of what was going on. And the reason being is that people used to always just look at me for everything. And I mean, I don't mind helping people and stuff like that, but how do you really grow a team and an organization when there's just all eyes on you? The purpose of a team is that it's a co-op. It's a team of people that are working together. I'm just providing the platform, really, is what I'm doing. I'm here for support. And so we have fun. Like, I like to show this, that we have a really good time. Like, these are my people. Like, look at Sam here. He's the Rocket Man. Like, we do fight nights. We do karaoke. We do, this was a Halloween party that we had. We just have a really great time with the people that we have in there. And it's not centered around me. It's centered around all of them, which is how it should be. So when you're running a team, just really keep that in mind. I think a lot of times it's on the team leaders, and really we should just be here to build and support and have a great time and let them, selling real estate, you guys know this is hard. Like, it's taxing and it's emotional, and you're a therapist and all these things. You want to really make sure that you have the systems and the processes and the fun for these people, right? So a little bit about our team and our ops. I live in our ops. Liv's shaking her head. I'm on with these guys all the time. I'm like, book me, let's go hang out. We're literally like hanging out all the time. And so I'm going to kind of actually jump over here, but this is a screenshot of what our operation looks like as of today. And so there's myself, there's Tina King. For anybody that knows Tina, she's a badass. She's been in real estate for 30 years, and she really helped me to launch this team. And so, we've got marketing, we've got ISAs, we've got onboarding, we've got Susie, who's on here, right here. She was my first TC, basically my first everything. Like, she was the first employee administrative hire, and she did everything. So now she's over there just being the most amazing TC in the world. And we've got Rachel that came on, and we have VA support. But point being is, really it just started with Tina and myself, right? And so I would encourage people, as you need different people in your organization, you're going to need people, but it's going to be you for a while, and then you're going to build these layers. I think it's helpful to also maybe add, like, hey, if we need somebody else, add that person in there. Maybe you don't have it. Maybe it's just an empty bubble. Add that person in there, and then, hire to what your needs are. And don't be afraid to hire, because you're going to go further with those hires. So our ops team is awesome. And then this is kind of a cool thing that I wanted to bring up that we do. So in our model, most traditional teams function just as a team. So it's all about the team leader, right? And in our old structure, we were the Serri home team, and everybody just was on basically the same splits and all that stuff, right? And so I just never felt right about that either. I'm all about just giving back. And so what's cool is, and I'll show you this slide here, we actually function in that, think about our name, the brand. How can we help our agents to brand themselves? Like, that's the concept here. How can we help them to brand themselves? So we have agents on the team that we've helped come up with these branding. Thank you, Liv. And so we've come up with these different branding options for them, because I just want it to be about them. And again, I want it to be a support. However, there's some agents that are like, I don't need any of that stuff. I kind of just want to plug and play like our traditional team model. They have a lower cap. These guys have a higher cap. They're allowed to do more things. So they're like our marketing team. And so the way that I look at this is, how can we help these agents to thrive and not want to leave, and to really provide those operational systems that most team leaders, it's really hard for them. Like, would you guys say, like, it's really hard to create the operations and the systems behind all this stuff, as much as you can say, hey, I want to build a team, right?
And so, Serri, for like these for the people that are coming in and doing like their own marketing group underneath your group, do you find that that's more so people that are already on the team, but that have, sold way more homes than everyone else, and they kind of want to create their own thing, but they still want the resources? And I mean, your org chart is huge, right? So you guys have all the TCs and all of the other stuff, like, so they just kind of want to continue to branch out on their own. Is that really the path for that?
Yeah, I mean, typically the people on this option are the ones that are producing more, or think about the people that we're attracting into our ecosystem. We're now able to attract people that it's not about me, it's about them, and we can provide and support. And so again, we've gone from like 25 agents to where we are now in such a short amount of time because we do allow and offer and support these kind of things. So I love it. Like haven't had this much fun. Yeah, I haven't had this much fun in real estate since I started, to be honest, just to be able, to see and watch people thrive and offer those things. So
Awesome.
you'll hear, go ahead.
Before we transition over to the ops, Gail had shared a question in the chat that I'm not sure you're comfortable sharing as far as actual numbers, but the question was, at what point did the team become profitable? And can you share what your profit margins are? I've found in teams, normally you go from you're very profitable on your own, and then it kind of dips, and then you figure things out. So I don't know if you want to talk in generalizations, or if you're comfortable giving some specific numbers, or what your comfort level is there. But
yeah, to be honest, I don't know all the numbers. I'd have to pull them up. I kind of live in, I was just having this conversation the other day. I live in like units and all these different things, but I can tell you in a generalized fashion that I definitely was a lot more profitable in my old model. The old model was, kind of your old 50-50 kind of shared model. And I'm not knocking any of these models. Of course, everybody has their own things out there. Super profitable over there. Kind of grindy on just my brain on how all that looked. And so now we're at a point where we're definitely not as profitable as we were. However, again, kind of like this screen, we're building a house of bricks. So once you have this operational team, we really don't need to add too many more people. Well, if we did, it would probably be VA support and maybe, one other person here or there. But what you do is you start to build out VA support for your people. And so that would be, where we'd venture in. And so building this foundation or this house of bricks, and then the profits will come because the agents will still come. I mean, we're going to be able to expand out into different markets. We're going to be able, we already are in 4 counties, but we're going to be able to expand out into different markets and have a hub, which is our Carlsbad office, which, by the way, is this really cool 4,000 square foot. We have parties in there. It's like a warehouse style. We have parties, and we have like food trucks that pull up in the back, and we do all these things. And I got that for a reason, because I wanted us to be able to like work and have a good time too. We have the roll up doors. So it's just, I'm now more intentional with how I am building this. So the profits will come later. I have no doubt.
If I can just jump in real quick,
Sure.
Exactly hear what you're talking about. We have 30 people on our team, and our profitability didn't start till the scale really occurred. So originally, when we were small, we were highly profitable. Switching over to real was a change in our way of doing business, and that it's the recruiting piece by adding more agents and scaling is where the profit, at least for us, comes in. So I wanted to see how that was working for you. That's why the question. Thank you for your insight.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, for us, I just kind of like brought all of my ops in, and then I also brought in some of my top agents, because we have what's called an agent advisory, and so I have top agents on the team that get together and help give us ideas, or we throw it to them and say, "What do you guys think?" But when I made this move, I just kind of like blew up the whole thing. I was like, okay, it's not my brokerage anymore. We're moving to another brokerage, and we're totally changing the name. Here we go. And so I just kind of blew up the whole system, but I brought people in, everybody loved it. And so it's really, for us, it was the whole package. It was the whole package at the right time. And, it just really took off for us. So so I am a nerd. I love technology. And I love, okay, so my thing is, in my house, if I have to turn on and off a light in my house, I'm frustrated. So all my lights are on timers. I can push buttons. Now my big thing is it's a big rave house, and I have all these like colored lights in my house and stuff like that. But that's what my kids have to deal with right now. But the reason I say that is that my tech and my automations, like if we can do that for the agents so that they can only do one thing and then something fires off because they do one thing, that's what we live in, and we build that stuff. And so I'm heavy on that. We use Follow Up Boss. So this is a little screenshot. We work with Interface, and Interface has built out a bunch of custom links for us. So when they set an appointment, a form gets filled out. We kind of joke that we should be called Form Realty because we have so many forms for literally everything. And so it fires off a bunch of different things, right? And then it goes into Sisu and it records all this stuff. Here's like an example like of the appointment form. When they go under contract, they have to fill out a form, and it does all this stuff. Another cool thing that we thought we'd show too is that we have this, let me go back. We have this page. So the website's called Hey Siri, and we have an inside page for our agents, as my phone went off. We have an inside page for our agents that they can basically go to one spot and be able to just find everything they need. And so there's a link on the Follow Up Boss page over here that then they can get over here, or they can do that. So ease of life, simplicity, and automations is really how we run our team.
I really
Right now
like
we're
that, having like one central link for everyone to
Yeah.
go to, because like how many times for those of you that have a team, or even if you're just at a brokerage on your own, you're like, well, where do I go for this? Well, where do I go for that? And
Oh,
someone's
yeah.
like, well, didn't you bookmark it or whatever? Here's the one page. It has all the links. Everything's there for you. That's an awesome takeaway.
Yeah. I have to give it all to Liv, my marketing gal. She's a whiz. I mean, there's so many things I can show you guys, but this is just a snippet of some of these things to organize as you grow a team, to make sure that there's centralized places. And I'd really encourage you guys to think about, if some of you guys are thinking about a team, or just for yourself, if you're an individual, but just really having like a one place hub. And so here's just kind of a inside of our tech stack that we use. We don't use Chime so much anymore. However, we do put it on here because our brokerage provides it for a low cost. But I do have agents that use Chime. So on the $12,000 cap option, they use Chime for their own SOI. But we live in Follow Up Boss. We don't make it mandatory for them to put that in there, but they do use Chime if they want to. So, that's what we used actually before Follow Up Boss. We went over there last year. And I thought this was fun too, to show like we live in Slack. So this was another part of us coming together and saying, how can we centralize our communication? Because Katie, we talked about this yesterday. As you're a smaller team, typically you use like iMessage or your phone, right? Like you use text messages, and we did that too. And I don't know if it still does this anymore, but typically it will cap you on how many people you can have in a group on iMessage. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, what's next? And so we went over to Slack, and man, that Slack like goes off all day long. Here's the cool thing. You can build automations and workflows in Slack. You can do all this different things. You can see on this screen here, it says Monday Motivation Mastermind or Monday Marketing Updates. So this is an automation, the bottom one. And the top one is Ashley, who's one of our operations assistants. And every morning I get on with my ops team at 8 o'clock, and we do a Slack huddle. So we just push the button on Slack. We get on for 15 minutes, roll through our day. Then Ashley shoots this out to the team, and it says, hey, everybody, here's what's going on today. And Katie, look, you're on there actually. We have you on here, by the way. And so anyways, everybody can get like a snapshot of what's going on. And the other cool thing about Slack is I used to back in the day get a lot of questions like, hey, I have a quick question, transactional and different things going on. Where do you find this? Blah, blah, blah. And so now I could literally be off of Slack all day and come back, and my team has already answered the questions for everybody. We really encourage people to say, hey, go to this channel, ask these questions. You can organize it by channels. They basically help each other, because really, remember, we're a team. Like, we're here to help each other. So wanted to show you guys that. That's kind of fun. And another thing we do is we have Zoom events. So it's called thebrandevents.com, and we open up a couple of our trainings every week, our Tuesday trainings. So like Josh and Tina, Josh is our lender, and Tina mentioned her earlier. They did a market update. And so we open that up to everybody. So if you went on the brand events and you were like, hey, you know, what are those guys up to? I want to join. It's free registration. You guys can jump on, and we post those things there. So that's another fun addition that we added this year. We also added the brand cares. And so right now we're doing we're sending the Lalas to Disneyland, and she was diagnosed with ALS, and she's a local family here. And so we're working on giving back and sending the family to Disneyland. So we always try to now have like a quarterly thing that we try to do. So we call it the brand cares. I was telling Katie, I'm like, I go on and I find URLs, and if there's a URL, I'm like super excited. I kind of live in GoDaddy, and I'm like, oh, that works. Katie, you're here again. So we also contribute and want to give back. So we have, you know, different masterminds. I'm going to shameless plug myself here that I'm starting on the 14th. It's called Teams Gone Wild. And so it's everything around teams. And so every week I'm going to be getting on with my friend Jordan. He's out of Colorado, and we're going to talk about teams. So I'm going to be bringing in team leaders, and I'm super excited because I'm going to learn what they're doing too. And at the end, everybody's going to provide something of value, whether it's a link or a PDF or something like that. Because again, I really like tangibles, you know, when you show up for these things. So that, and then my favorite core value here is work hard, play hard, or work hard, be kind. Actually, Liv, I think it was supposed to be here. I'll fix it. Work hard, be kind.
Well, that's because what you're doing tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So anyways, we do work hard and we play hard too. I know what you were saying on this one now. Actually, so here's the deal. So it's really important for us to, as leaders or as real estate agents and as you know, just running a family, because actually I say my business started when I had all my kids and running a business with my family, because literally you do that. So those of you that are moms on there and you have kids, you know what I mean, like just trying to keep track of their school stuff, their sports stuff. It's like a whole organization, and you literally have to leverage as many people as possible. I think what we wanted to show here, this is actually a snapshot, by the way, of our team calendar for this week. We have like a vacation calendar so our agents can tap in, so we know like when they're going out of town, what they're doing. I'm going to Disneyland on Thursday, so I'm super excited. I'm actually going to meet my listing coordinator, Lauren, there, who, by the way, my listing coordinator lives up in Oregon. So we function, we do all this stuff. She lives up in Oregon, and so we basically just do what we do and make everything work. But you can see that we provide a lot of value to our agents for them to be able to tap in when they need to. Really, the only thing that we make kind of required is our team meeting. We do keep an eye on who's showing up or not, because obviously if we don't see agents showing up, you know, quite often, we need to make sure that we understand how we can help them. But we put our team meetings on YouTube, and they can go back and watch them too, because we also want to make sure our agents are out selling homes. We have fight night this Saturday. Tristan is on the team, and she's awesome. She's been in real estate for a while, and she's actually just using our office to do her own Santa event. So things like that, you know, I just kind of want to show how we provide and we, you know, have a good time too. And that is it for my slides. I would love to have you guys give me a follow on social media. I'm an Instagram nerd. I somewhat get on Facebook, and then TikTok I'm struggling. So anyways, you can find me on Instagram, and, you know, always reach out if you guys need anything. But I will stop my share and open it to any questions that you guys might have.
So I have a couple. I'll jump in then.
Okay.
Okay. So what is your hiring message? Are you putting out ads? Are people coming to you? What, like, in that growth are you doing to attract it?
So it's a mixture of many things, and it's pretty much come together as its own department, right? Because as you're seeing a need, you build on it. I would say what is our biggest factor? I actually just this week, there was like 4 agents that referred people over this week. And so we do have a very thorough process of when someone refers them over, they use a form, they fill it out. It goes to Gary, and then Gary gets on and talks to them to make sure, because just because they send someone over doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good fit for our team, but maybe, they're good for our brokerage. And so we kind of like find that way for it. But right now I'd say that the agents are kicking in and doing a really good job of sending people over that they know, which obviously if they're on our team is typically someone that fits our team, good vibes and culture.
Do y'all have like running ads that stay on WiseHire or Indeed or any of those websites?
Yep, we have WiseHire running. There's another company called My LinkedIn Solutions. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but they will run some advertising. We have another company called Pro Broker that does phone calls for us. And trying to think of what else, but we do have, and then of course there's just social media, right? Like there's just people that see us on social media and say, hey, what are you guys doing? And things like that. But I feel like I'm missing something, but we do have, a bunch of different things like that we have people come to us collectively. Yeah.
Kim dropped in the chat. So how often are you guys doing meetings and huddles and things like that?
Okay. So, we basically have meetings or trainings, I guess, running every day. We do like a Motivation Monday Zoom. We have Tuesday training, which that's the one that's open. This is cool. So we call it Winning Wednesday, and it's basically just the agents ISAs can get on to, and it's just them. And what they do is they get on and they basically just talk about like, what are they doing to win in this market? So that's just run by them. We have our Thursday team meeting. And what we do for our team meeting, we have it hybrid. So we have it in the office and we have it also on Zoom, and we have this big projection screen on the wall so everybody can come in and watch it and everybody's on. Again, we put it in YouTube, and then once a month we have a mega team meeting, and we have the grill and we fire up the grill and we cook for everybody and stuff like that. So we do that once a month to really try to get people in. And then Fridays, we actually do a 90-day boot camp. And so that is actually another open platform that's on the brand events. And so we do that. I mean, there's so many things that they can mix into, but I guess a couple other things is we do a database meeting every month with my database manager. She gets on with everybody and goes through and makes sure their stuff's up to par. And then we do leadership meetings with them once a month too. So yeah, it's a balance of finding accountability versus micromanagement, right? Like you need to be able to give them the accountability, flexibility. It's a balance. I'd say that's, I don't know that we necessarily have it tackled down, but I think we have it pretty close. I don't know, Chris, you're on here. How's it working? Yeah. Anything else?
So, as far as like your KPIs and things like that for, like Kim said, any team requirements for weekly touch points, but is there like, for team provided leads, do you guys have an expectation of how many times they're contacting them? I know you guys are a Flex team or a Zillow team. I don't know if you're Flex, but Zillow team. Yeah. So like, I know that there's certain KPIs for that they have to hit. Like, what standards are there for you to receive leads from Serri? This is what you have to do.
Awesome. Good question. Okay. So when we had our rapid growth, obviously my top producers were like, whoa, like who's coming in and what's going on, right? So we had to come up with a plan. And so what we do is internally, we have different lead programs. So it's core, we have independent, so we can have independent agents, independent, core, traditional, and elite. And within that, there's certain expectations and standards that we try to meet. There's a little bit of a variance and gray area and stuff like that, but we have this like standard that we built out. We also built out lead expectations. So you get a lead, you have this amount of time to make the call, text, all that. We have automations that go off. If within 4 hours this doesn't happen, ISAs round robin added. We have all that stuff built out, right? And so not everybody is on leads. So if you're in an independent program, you love us, our culture, our vibe, you're going to be independent. New agents go on core, they start there, and then they move up the ladder. And so our lead agents are the ones that are on our referral partner programs, and that's where the accountability comes in more and more. So we have separate Zillow, we are in Flex, we have separate Zillow meetings. We have Rocket Homes, Veterans United. And the cool thing about what's happening is most of those programs are run by my agents. So I'm right now looking over everything. But like my Zillow program is run by a super badass lady. Her name's Tulane, and she's running that. She's an agent too, but she's running that program for me. And so it's really cool to watch how everything's been going. But we do have accountability. I know you hear the other one and you're like, okay, well, everybody's like a free for all. But in for leads, like if you're going to take leads, there's accountability for the leads for sure. Yeah.
So speaking of leads, what are your lead sources?
Okay, so we have Zillow Flex, Rocket Homes, Veterans United, Homelight, Realtor.com, but Ylopo. We do the pay-per-click for Ylopo. What am I missing? I feel like there's another one. I mean, Yelp, we do Yelp. We just get the natural stuff that kind of comes in, that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm missing something, but yeah, that's pretty much our flow.
Series, like these are the things that we pay for every month. And when we're inking the checks, these are the ones.
Yeah, there's a good amount of leads that come in. I would say that we're not as lead heavy as we once were. I mean, obviously the market's changed a little bit, but back in the day, my agents were just flooded with leads. And what I've seen is as things have slowed down, it's really encouraged them to go out and do more of their sphere and things like that. And they get a better split. Like I tell them, you guys, like the lead should really just be a leveraging point in your career. It shouldn't be that it's just the leads. So I've started to see people do more of their sphere and things like that too. Yeah, it's been cool to watch.
Well, and so Joanne, well, before we move to Joanne's question, Gail, is anyone doing Home Partners of America, Think Trio, or any rent to own programs? Have y'all done any? I can comment if you haven't.
I haven't. No.
So Gail, in Texas, like we've done like a deal with Home Partners of America and a deal with Divvy Homes. I mean, basically what the program is, for those of y'all that don't know, is if you have someone that isn't quite ready to buy, but they can qualify to rent, Home Partners or Divvy or these other companies will purchase the home. That person will then rent the home from that company, and you get a commission as if it is a, buyer commission for whatever your buyer agent, commission is in your market. So it's a good opportunity to be able to convert some of your renters to buyers and get the full commission today. The only problem is the rent is a little bit higher than general market rent. And it's not like the money that they're paying towards rent goes towards their down payment or anything like that. So it's not always the best option for someone. We always kind of go through that, but we've done one of each. So, all right. So question in the chat from Joanne was, I would love to hear more about your automations and forms. And so one of the things that I just screenshotted off of your slide deck, let me share my screen here real quick, was your Follow Up Boss custom fields. So they've got fields and forms for appointments, listing a home, a listing agreement signed, pending, pre-closing, closed form, listing tools, buyer needs, seller form, tag, all of these different things, right? And so for these forms, this is the agent is filling them out. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, so agent or ISA fills out the appointment form. That gets filled out, and then it shoots the information over to CSU, which registers. It changes the stage. It sets an appointment in Follow Up Boss. It also puts information in the background, different things like this is a test one, but yeah, it does all these different automations on there, which is cool, off of one form. Awesome. I think we just looked at our Zapier account and I had to upgrade it, and we had like over 75 zaps just because we're crazy.
Yeah. Well, and so basically, if you this is years and years of forms and things like that. So if someone had no forms and automation set up, like what would be like, maybe the first one someone should start with to like get this started?
Well, here's the thing. We actually didn't use a lot of these forms until probably about the last year and a half ago. So I'm not going to say that we are a whiz with these forms because we hired Daniel over at Interface. So I'm happy to provide that information from him. We worked with him very, very heavily. I think we were up there with like Kyle Whistle's forms. Like we just kind of went crazy with it. But you can literally tap right into some of his forms that he has made. And I don't know what CRMs he works with or not, but for those of you that are on Follow Up Boss, he can provide those for you. Otherwise, if I was to say what would be the first form, I would probably say the under contract, the under contract
Well,
form.
and that's,
You know, yeah.
I was gonna say the other thing too, like if y'all have teams, is talk to your admin teams and say like, where are the pain points? What are the bottlenecks that you're seeing from
Yeah.
your agents or from me, right? Because if you're an individual agent on this call today, thinking about starting a team, or if you are, have a small team or things like that, like often you're the bottleneck, right? And so talk to, your team and see what could make things more efficient for them and what could make things, smoother. And they may say, yeah, it's like going under contract form. Like you guys never give me all the information. The docs aren't on the email, this, that, and whatever. Erica, I know you guys have a lot of automations. Are you guys using forms for things, or does Alex just read y'all's minds?
Yeah, no, we're formed for like everything. Everything, yeah. So what I found, because I had too many templates, SOPs, like the team doesn't go in Trello. Like there's so many different programs where like everything is kind of put to. So what we did was just in Google Docs, made like an index page, like you were talking about earlier, Katie. We just made an index page. It's called FAQs. Like everyone should have it. And that way we're not updating links. Like we have literally, if you get a listing, here's your steps. You click like listing, and then it has all of our stuff that the listing coordinator needs, but like there's backlinks, right? You're constantly clicking to have another template, to have like how you send out the email, congratulations, like thanks for signing your listing, like any little thing like that. The girls on my team were getting super frustrated. So I had to, I'm like, you just searched in the Google Docs, and like, they're like, but what is it called? So the FAQ, and I think we broke it down into like 10 different things, is what our index is, to try to simplify it.
I would say just work project to project. I think exactly what Katie, you were saying, like ask what the pain points are. Just because we think it might be something doesn't necessarily mean it is. And just work project to project and, get through it. This was one that's pretty cool, that was created actually early on. So when you ask like, what's one of the first ones, this is a buyer offer needs link. And I actually, because I was a heavy buyer's agent, I would always get, okay, you want to write an offer. Now what? I need this, and this, right? And so what I did was I created this buyer offer needs list, and so my agents can just grab the URL and send it to the clients and say, hey, here's what the information we need. Obviously you want to have a conversation with them too, but here's the information you need. They can even send it to them in advance when they first meet, or, creating that relationship. Hey, I'm just going to send this to you now so that you can take a look at this, so that we're prepared when you find that house. This is what we're going to go through. There's also a video in here, and it's me walking through the contract. And so this was another cool link that we came up with first. So that was kind of an OG project at the very
Serri,
beginning.
do you have a transaction coordinator? I'm sorry, on your ops organization, like do you require all your agents to use a transaction coordinator, so the consumer is getting the same quality of service? Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 TCs in-house, and our agents are required to use our TCs because we also have a lot of automations that run. We've built out automations in Sisu that says, hey, it's 4 days before this, and this is what's going to happen. And I'd say we probably have a little revamp to do on that stuff, but you start somewhere. So, right, Rachel? Rachel's on here. She's on our TCs. There she is. We require our TCs. Yeah. And we have a listing coordinator too, like I mentioned. So.
Can I ask, is your ISA in-house or virtual, or
Yeah, so we have 2 in-house ISAs. That's a tricky department. I think you hear that a lot. We've tried different things too. We have 2 in-house ISAs, and then they have a virtual assistant support who does other things for us too. But ironically, their virtual assistant support was my very first assistant, like 7 years ago. And He's just great. He's been with us for a long time, but he's there. He has a perfect speaking voice. He's from the Philippines. And so he helps to support them in the database. He can make calls too if we need him to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. Just going through the chat here. I think that is it on questions in the chat. What other questions do y'all have? How many staff do you have? Do you know offhand?
Where's my org chart? How many staff
What's
do I
the-
have? I
Let me
think
pull
I
up the
have.
org chart.
I think with VAs and everything.
13 with
13?
VAs and UNTK. So
Okay.
11.
Yeah. And as you guys can see, I love my whole team. I just love my operations too. Like, God, we have just the best time together. So, I just really, my goal is to really empower people to be able to do what they do best. Come up with a lot of good ideas and things like that, like probably too many, oh, hey, let's do this. But they really dive in deep, and they do a great job of keeping everything in order and really loving on them and appreciating them. So the ops is your backbone, you guys. They are what runs this whole machine.
I would agree.
Yeah,
It's always good when you have good ops.
it is.
Awesome. Good deal. Anyone else have any other questions?
Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, we will go ahead and wrap up for today. If y'all don't already or aren't already part of the Facebook group, hop over to Facebook and join that. I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and then also follow and connect with Serri on Instagram if you've got any questions or want to go further in depth on anything.
Yeah, and then like I mentioned, I'll be starting the Teams Gone Wild. So if any of you guys, we're going to have ops team on, we're going to have team leaders, or maybe if you're just solo, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. So that starts next week. It'll be fun.
I'm excited.
Awesome. And you're on, you're
Awesome.
a guest. All right.
Not next week though, right?
Not next week. No, in January.
Yeah. All right. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you all next month.
All right. Thanks, everyone.